Derick Giwner back with the incomparable Matt Rose for another edition of the Harness Spotlight, where we're going to look at Dayton Raceway for Saturday, October 3rd. They have a huge 14-race card, over $1 million in purse money being given away, and 3 Grand Circuit Stakes. We're going to take a look at 2 of the 3. It starts in race number 10, and it's the Dayton Trotting Derby. $175,000 is on the line. We have a full 9-horse field that we're going to take a look at right now, along with Matt's help. And you see, there they are. And we start with, I guess, Majestic Players along the inside, but Atlanta's the favorite here.
Yeah, a lot of familiar faces here that we've been following throughout the year, or years for that matter. It's kind of cool. We get the matchup of Atlanta and Manchego. Lindsay the Great still shut out on the season, but has banked some pretty good coin. Crystal Fashion and Guardian Angel have to overcome outside posts. We have the Mare When Doves Cry on the far outside for a pretty intriguing race here. I agree with you. Atlanta's likely the favorite, but certainly no lock here. That's for sure.
No, she's certainly no lock here. And the way I look at it from my perspective is that I kind of shy away from playing Atlanta in this particular spot, because from what I've seen of her, it seems like she wants to come from off the pace, and that seems to be her best play, unless she's facing, lower level competition. And, when you're the favorite, you tend to be near the front. I mean, I don't know that I want Atlanta as the favorite, at least for my money.
But, I agree, generally speaking, that when you're favored or look the best on paper, generally you're more aggressively driven and sent somewhere towards the front, or quarter move or brush or something like that. But we've seen Atlanta come from off the pace, from a mid-pack spot plenty of times when he's been the horse that the race kind of goes through. So that really doesn't concern me that much. And I think from this spot, coming off that pretty solid effort and defeat in the Caesars Trotting Classic at Hoosier Park, you know what? He's definitely the one to beat from the spot, and my money is going to go with him on top.
You mentioned the Caesars Trotting Classic. Why don't we take a look at the Caesars Trotting Classic, since we have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th finishes from that race, and one of them is going to be my top pick, and it's the one all the way at the back in this field. It's number 2, who's trying to weave between traffic and closes okay and ends up finishing 4th, and that's Crystal Fashion.
Problem with Crystal Fashion is, you said, coming from way back and having to weave through, and maybe have to come from too far back. What's to say he's not going to have to come from too far back in tonight's race? Has an outside post. We have seen speed on occasion, but if he does show some sort of speed, will he take a shuffle and have to re-rally? I think it's quite possible when Atlanta or Manchego or even Lindsay the Great, for that matter, or Majestic Player from the rail push off hard. I think he has to come from too far back, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I hope for your sake you're wrong, but much as we saw in that clip, you might be kind of wondering why he was too far back again when your money was going on him. But listen, he's certainly a proven talent, that's for sure. But he's proven he needs to get, with this caliber, he needs to get a trip. He needs to get a little bit lucky. So what kind of price are you looking at? I mean, what kind of price are you looking at if you're going to take him on top?
I got to assume he's going to be somewhere at least 15-1 or higher in this field. And I look at this race and I don't see it. I do see Majestic Player leaving from the inside. I don't see Atlanta leaving in this field. I mean, maybe she'll try to make an early move, but, I'm not sure. I don't think there's any chance Manchego's leaving. Word I have it is that she's going to switch to an open bridle this week, and that usually means an off-the-pace trip, and she hasn't been great lately. So maybe, and she was a little hot last time, which is probably why she made that break. So I don't see her leaving. Pure Chance has been pretty much awful. I mean, so unless Linda the Great leaves to my inside, I think this should be almost a clear sailing to the front here for Crystal Fashion. And that's why I think he's worth a shot in what I consider to be a pretty wide open race. And I don't know. I just can't see. I'd rather take if you can give me like 9-2 or something on Manchego. I would probably take a shot there. That maybe the equipment change, different tactics make a difference. But I can't take Atlanta at what I think is going to be 7-5.
Well, you know what? We both have Manchego in the second spot, and there probably is, considering how he's kind of tailed off a little bit. We're probably gonna get a little bit of value on him tonight. That's for sure. I guess we're both banking on some sort of turnaround. Obviously, he's tailed off a little bit, even threw in a break in his last start, which is very uncharacteristic. But the fact that he turns around and he's right back in, I guess staying on schedule with this stake schedule is a positive. And listen, nobody would be surprised if Manchego rebounded and won. I got him in the second spot with Atlanta on top. You got him with a price underneath. But you know what? I'm going to go back to the old reliable, the old faithful matchup, Atlanta versus Manchego, and I don't see any reason why Yannick Gingras can't work out the winning trip from slightly off the pace or following cover from this spot, as long as he's not too short. And like I said, I don't see odds on here. I'll stick with him. You know what? You give me 7-5, 8-5 or something, I'm okay with that.
Maybe Manchego and perhaps even Atlanta's problem is you keep calling them hims and they're hers. So maybe that's what's really bothering them. So we got top picks here. I'm going with a bit of a long shot here. I go 7-4-3-1, and Matt's going 3-4-6-1. Atlanta's his top pick, and we're going to move on to race number 12. It's the Dayton Pacing Derby, 176,500. We have a full field of 9 on the gate, and as you can see from the morning line, 5-2, 3-1, 7-2, 9-2. This is a pretty tight knit bunch where almost anyone can win.
Yeah, we have a very interesting field here. A mixed bunch. We have a 3-year-old Ocean Rock, some 4-year-olds, Better's Wish, Dancing Lou, Century Pharaoh, and then we have some of the horses that have been doing great in the Midwest circuit. Section Line, Big Gree, Black Hole, Our Major Dan. We know he's got a ton of speed if he wants to use it. And we have some more, the Burke aged contingent. This is the Plan Backstreet Shadow. You know what? This is a heck of a race, and it's hard to gauge how this race is going to go. I couldn't even tell you who the favorite's going to be. I mean, obviously, like you said, there's no clear cut favorite, which does make for a great betting race, without a doubt.
For me, the betting favorite, it almost has to be Better's Wish. I mean, I know the horse has missed 4 weeks of action, so maybe that comes into play a little bit. But I think people genuinely think that he's the best of the older horses right now, and I think he probably takes the most play. But I mean, for me, missing 4 weeks of action, coming off a 53 qualifier at the Meadowlands, that's I don't know. To me, that's not quite enough for me to jump on board here. I mean, I have to see another start before I'd be willing to take anything under 3-1 on this horse.
All right, I certainly can understand all the points you make. That's certainly legit. I'm not that concerned with the speed or the time of that qualifier, maybe even the missed time. These top horses with top conditioners, I don't necessarily feel like they have to race every single week, like maybe overnight claimers or something like that to race into shape. I gotta assume that if he's entered this race, they're prepping, they're ready for this race. I'm sure he's been trained up pretty well for this race, and you know what, he is. I have to agree that I think he is I think he does get the top check mark here, considering the post position, the spot that he's in, what he's proven this year as a 4-year-old, and what he did last year as a 3-year-old. I'm going to assume he's ready to go here. I know I'm not going to get too short of a price, so you know what? If he's around 5-2, I think that's reasonable enough value with him.
A bunch of these horses are coming out of the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby. We're going to take a look at that video where the winner is actually one of the horses in here. He's going to get a perfect trip. This is the plan. He's the 3-horse. On the lead right now is Backstreet Shadow, who had made a couple of moves during the race and, tired in the stretch, but only lost by a few lengths. And you'll see this is the plan coming up the inside to win, Matt.
Yeah, you see Backstreet Shadow, he does get swallowed up in the late stages, and that's kind of been my problem with him this season. I think he tends to not show enough late stamina, I guess, for my tastes. We have This Is the Plan, another Ron Burke trainee that we saw upset in that race. You know what? I have a feeling you like Backstreet Shadow here. I know you've kind of been a fan of this horse. Do you see him? You know he's going to be near on or near the lead. Do you see him having enough late kick or oomph to hold this field at bay? I personally don't think so.
I honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this horse, but it depends on the situation. And I think Dayton is the right situation. We're moving from a 7/8 track to a 5/8 track. The 5/8 track is his forte. That's where he does his best work. He's 7 for 8 this year on the 5/8 mile track. And last year he was 5 for 6 on the 5/8 mile track. So that's 12 of his last 14 wins have come on a 5/8 mile track. He clearly likes this configuration. It tends to favor more speed, which is what he has. And I think you're going to get a decent price on him. He's certainly going to be at least 9-2, 5-1, somewhere in that range, in what looks like a wide open race. He has the inside post position, so he could certainly, dart out from that spot. Though the inside isn't always the greatest spot on a 5/8. I think this race shapes up nicely for him to do well.
All right, I mean, I can see your logic, but like I said, I just need to see more from him late, especially if he's going to be used early to secure the front end or secure a trip. There is plenty of other speed here. My second choice, the 3-year-old Ocean Rock. You want to talk about a horse with a ton of early speed? If you saw that race at Northfield in the Milstein, I mean, to blast out and clear the lead as easily as he did, and he'll hold on so stubbornly, even though he did get nipped. I'm going to take a stab with him that he can fire out and either cut this pace and dig in and hold for a big share. But I'm going to assume that Dexter Dunn, who obviously I think he knows what he's doing with Bettor's Wish, will be able to work out a trip from this spot. Century Pharaoh is on my tickets. I see he's on your ticket also. You know what? He's just a solid, steady competitor. Maybe doesn't win as often, but always picks up a nice share, and he should be in the hunt. And this is the plan of the Ron Burke aged choices in here. I kind of like this guy to be in the ticket more than Backstreet Shadow. I think he can say he's versatile enough, and I think he can get the ticket. I think he'll be a decent price again. But Bettor's Wish for me, I don't want to sound like too obvious, like I'm chalking it up. But again, this is no heavy chalk here. I'm not, because you know what? There's plenty of value underneath. If I'm not just making like a straight win bet or something. If you like Backstreet Shadow, you're getting 5-6-1. You can look at a nice win bet, or spread underneath. Dancing Lou, who you have second. I'm not sure what to make of him. I assume you think he can rebound, or he's a little bit inconsistent for my taste. But tons of value to be had here. But although I have Bettor's Wish on top, I like Ocean Rock, and I think tactically speaking on a small track, there's no reason why he shouldn't be right up front near the pace. And we'll see if he's good enough to go with these, at least to make it on the ticket at possibly double-digit odds.
Just a couple of quick notes. Dancing Lou, my thought process was just never involved last time. Missed a few weeks before that start. I think he can be a little bit better. Was second in the Canadian Pacing Derby. He's certainly as fast as any of these. And another horse where I think you'll get fair value on this horse. The 6, Ocean Rock. Listen, the form is great. He looks great against the Ohio breds. He had a ridiculous trip in the Milstein and raced really well against top horses. I just don't know how he handles these top older horses here. And I think you're going to look at an underlay. You're in Ohio. It's an Ohio horse. I think maybe this horse should be on paper, 6-8-1, and he ends off going, 4-1. That's really one of my problems with him here.
But you know what? You talk a smaller track where you like Backstreet Shadow. You know what? The 5/8 or smaller track configuration can generally work well or better for speedy type horses. And you know what? If he fires out and maybe there's a back down half, or the middle half isn't that strong, you know what? Tactically speaking, he on a 5/8 track, maybe the others have too far to come, and he could steal away with a bit of a rating job somewhere one of the splits and be surprised that he's right there with the big boys, and he proves it. Like I said, especially coming off of the bigger track.
If Ocean Rock is on the lead here and my horse Backstreet Shadow sit in the pocket, I'll take my horse 10 times out of 10 and take my chances that he's going to beat him. But we'll see what happens. The race will come down on Saturday. It should be a really good race. There's 14 races on the card, 8 Ohio Buckeye Championship races, and like I said, over $1 million in purses. We're going to show all the races live on DRF.com. It's a great card. You'll be sure to check it out. Good luck.